Is there anybody out?
You are all my children now.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face. Blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
We have such sights to show you. We'll tear your soul apart.
Hi, I'm Tom Savini, and you're watching Death Curse Society. They're really good friends of mine. But why?
Just in the middle of a dream. I was kissing Valentino by a crystal blue Italian stream. But I can't be late, 'cause then I guess I just won't get paid. These are the days when you wish your bed was already made. It's just another manic Monday. It was Sunday, 'cause that's my fun day. I don't have to run day. It's just another manic Monday. I wish it was Sunday, 'cause that's my fun day. It's just another manic Monday.
That was new. You guys doing behind the scenes. Fucked me all up.
Smashing that clock, man. Time to go to work.
It is. It's time to go to work. Welcome to Death Curse Society and Monday Maniacs, everybody. Hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful Monday. I got the Colonel and I got Zigzag. What up, guys?
Oh, yes.
Baby.
Oh, man. Colonel, how was your week?
Busy. Work. Hot as fuck. Work. Zoo. Work.
Nice. Oh, you got some zoo time in there.
Though during the week.
Ah, what'd you watch?
Well, I had to watch The Fog. Duh. Why
Duh.
are we celebrating 420? I'm like, fuck that shit. I'm gonna celebrate 421, baby.
Which one did you watch?
Like there's a choice.
Right.
Just because you like the 2005 one, Zach,
Oh.
everyone else does.
Stop before you. There you go. That was the buzzer. I preempted buzzard you for saying something so silly.
Yeah.
We all know you love it. Just come out with
We love it. My week,
Biggie.
well, things dramatically changed in the world a little bit around here as far as the work stuff for the summer.
They did.
It sucks, yes. I'm not doing the whole thing I was going to do, which is going to pretty much eat up May, June, July, the entire time. So that's open now. I'm just going to kind of stick with doing what I've been doing, kind of working both places. And yeah, it sucks. However, and maybe folks, you DCS people can help me lean on these fellas. I am now available to come to Living Dead Weekend. And I think I'm going to go, even if these two guys don't go. I want to go. I might even go to this one as a civilian. Of course, I'll have my camera and go up. But man, I really want to go to this fucking thing now. And I'm hot on these guys to go too. But we got to wait for Colonel to check his schedule to see what's up. And we got to see if, we're going to have to do a GoFundMe for Crank to the current gas prices to get him over there. But Living Dead Weekend, I'm coming for you, baby. I think.
I'm sorry, I'm only designated a set number of days off. While it's a decent amount, there's summer break, winter break. That shit's already scheduled. Like, I got to see where I can go. I haven't ruled it out.
I see a summer flu coming your way right about June. You're going to have to let them know about June 9th, I think. 8th maybe. Yeah, man. It's terrible. It always hits those same 3 days, and then you're fine come Monday. It's great. I don't know. We'll see. But Pennsylvania, Monroeville Mall, the Death Curse Society has got you in the sights, and we'll see. We're working on it. It's there. I don't know. Like I said, I may be there as a civilian, but that's just as good too. I'll still get footage, and I'll be able to enjoy it and meet any of you fools that come down there too. So we'll see.
We haven't gotten a confirmation on your days off yet, Colonel?
No.
No.
The August one is extremely difficult.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Which I kind of told you guys before. It's.
Oh yeah, I get it.
3 and one of the 3 of us take off. The other 2 are fucked.
Okay. Well, because if both of you are going, I'll be there.
Now if it's just easier for me is if I go the civilian route and have a couple little correspondents with me.
Aha.
Might be easier.
We may be able to do something like that.
Like I said, I just all of a sudden I find myself, I have the time to do it, and I obviously been dying to go there. And fucking Night of the Living Dead 1990.
This is a big one too, man.
Yeah, it's huge, man. But I was talking to Crank about this too. Just after we went to Blairstown and saw the Friday the 3rd, I didn't give a flying fuck about going to any movie sets at all. We had Joseph Scott out there doing it. I was like, I can see the pictures, good enough. And then we went over the fucking hill and started seeing the actual fucking buildings, dude. And I tell you what, it was cathartic, man. It's overwhelming. And I want
his face was glorious. Both of ours, really, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was so incredible, and that would just be—I don't know, man. I may get arrested. I may have a permanent erection the whole time I'm walking around there, just being in Monroeville Mall. I'm serious.
Whoa!
Wait, I got it.
If that's the case,
I got it. I got it.
You better take that shit to your fucking leg.
There you go.
Yes, but anyway.
I'll
I kid. Obviously, if they can't do it, it's totally understandable. But Zigzag may be finding his way down there. He's asking friends and stuff right now too. If anyone wants to go, might bring my brother with me. I don't fucking know, but I want to get down there. I want to see this.
Well, and one other main reason we got to get down there is we gotta meet up with one of our final girls, Miss Patricia.
God damn it!
She's right there.
She's right
she
there.
Said, if you guys go, that would make her year. Now, how can we possibly say no now?
This is what I'm saying,
Colonel.
Why gonna make me be the bad guy? What the fuck?
Yes.
Oh man. Appreciate you guys all for tuning in. It looks like the crowd's all here already. Let me back it up here. Lorena comes in hot with the quote of the night. Our bodies come and go, but Monday Maniacs is forever.
Yes. And she was quoting, as she clarified it a little later, House of 1,000 Corpses, but still, what a comment.
Right. Mm-hmm. Thank you, dear. Thank you.
And the customization too, adding, Monday Maniacs to it. It's superb.
Yeah.
Love it. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We got Chris here. We got Tyrone. We got S. Michael. He's already answering our question, I think. It all started when I was about 3 years old. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
James is here. What's up, James? Woo! Woo! Dave's in the house. Like I mentioned, Patricia's here. Tanya, Carrie, our friend across the pond. Hi, beautiful people. I don't know why I have to mention that every time, but
it's awesome. I love that we got a couple of people in London that like to tune in and hear us idiots rant on about horror movies, man. It's pretty cool.
If it helps put them to sleep,
yeah, right.
Me too. Okay,
yeah. Sometimes you build a tolerance to that melatonin, man. You got to go with something stronger.
Sure.
Well, there are people in America that love the British TV and the British comedies, so maybe it's working vice versa.
Listen, I love Benny Hill, Monty Python.
Comedy, so.
Right? Benny Hill, Monty Python.
Kiara's here. She said, I missed you three so much. We're back, baby. Or you're back. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes.
Thank you for coming back.
Gosh.
Oh God. I'm not reading that, Dave.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I am. Fuck it. Why not? Dave says, fuck, with a solid boner, you might have the chicks at Waffle House brawling for you.
These guys can have them. Like, I'd pass. I'm good. I'm like, I could do better and just walk out. Like,
I just never thought just liking average breakfast food would lead to such excitement and you know what I mean? I don't know.
Especially with the menu being as small and kind of shitty.
Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely reduced in these current times.
You can't fuck up eggs though. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's just,
I guess motherfucker, you're the one that always wants to eat it. Waffle House. I ain't going back. I done told you.
I can go to any. Me and Crank went to a good Denny's in Kansas City. It was actually quite good there. It wasn't bad.
It was a good Denny's.
It was a good Denny's. I know. I was just as shocked as you are.
Damn.
Dude, and I wasn't even drunk at the time, so it was actually pretty decent.
That was upon arrival to the area.
Yeah. After check-in, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Because it was right across the street, basically.
Yeah, it was right there, man. Yeah, all right.
All right. And it looks like Andy's here. And David. So I think that gets everybody there. Want to say thanks to our current members, our final girls and guys, Corey, Chris, Lorena, Christy, Luke, S. Michael, Patricia, Tanya, and Tyrone. And, of course, our crazy Rouse, Angelo, and Raymond. And our camp counselors, Stacy Lynn, Orlando, Kiara, and Dave.
The fucking best, man.
Now, awesome. Dave, I believe, and I think even S. Michael helped me confirm in the comments. I think both of you are going to be joining us for next week's edition of Curse Your Luck. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We gotta
time again.
We gotta lock down those prizes. By the way, Ziggy.
Yes. We got that.
You know what I'm talking about. I can't say yet, but you know what I'm talking about.
Dude.
And But if you're interested in becoming a member and helping support the society, head on over to our website at deathcursesociety.com. Go to the join page, and you can see the tiers. You can see what you get. And good stuff. And that's about it that I've got for right now. So
I feel we need like 2 more players too, man. So if you're watching and you're interested in playing a horror themed trivia game show with some little bit of gambling element in there, it's a blast, man. Come join us, and you can win some swag.
Yeah.
We can't tell you what it is, unfortunately, right now, but it's definitely cool.
It's nice, very nice.
I got to point out this because I think you have something that goes along with this, Ziggy. But this comment right here from Dave says, "Fucking dope shirt, Crank. Where did you get it?" So it's the shirt I picked up at Horror Hound in Cincinnati a few weeks ago. Just a conglomeration of all the Jasons on it.
Well,
And,
I guess that's about as good a cue as any to go ahead and do it, eh?
That's what I'm saying. So
right,
we've
folks.
got the horror shirt challenge ready to go. Ziggy, tell them about it.
Yeah, we started doing it. Started with me and Colonel just running around, and I kept winning because they never had his size. It was awesome. He'd find these awesome shirts, and they'd be like, "You got it in this size?" And sorry, no. And I'd be like, "XL." They were like, "Yeah, right here." So I mean, I was getting all of them. But now it's kind of become the tradition of Horror Hound. We get in there, and this time we put a wild card into the mix. But it's all right here. Check this out. Here we go.
Hey gang, it's time for the t-shirt challenge. We got to find the best t-shirt in the room, and we're gonna bring FaZe in on this one.
See, FaZe? The wild card, but motherfucker, the champ is right here. We know it. I'm the defending champ. I'm gonna win this shit again, baby. The t-shirt challenge is on now. It's Whorehound.
Hold on. It was rigged, and you know how you got the advantage last time? You shoulder blocked us.
Shoulder block. See?
Watch this. Hey, fetch! Go!
Oh, yeah.
There they
Is
are.
it on the page now?
It is posted on the Facebook Death Curse Society page, and that's where you're going to vote and pick your best shirt. I apologize. I mean, that's the cell phone technology of cameras and going through a bunch of emails and getting shipped. That's about as clear as they look when they get to the final destination, and then going through the editing program. So they're there though, and there's probably a clearer picture on Facebook as well.
Here's hoping. Patricia says that's a sweet shirt. Thank you.
See that?
Kiara says, "Oh my God, I need the Hey Jerk Speed Kill shirt."
One vote already.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, that's not a vote. That doesn't count as a vote yet. Fuck. Dave says, "Got to be Colonel for me." Fuck you, Dave.
I have to admit, you got everybody dug up some cool stuff this time around. It's definitely cool.
Yeah, because I didn't have to settle for shit that Zag bought that I won, but they didn't vote for him. We'll go do so.
Well,
last year, goddamn it.
The only thing I care about is we can't let Ziggy win again because that would be some bullshit. Well, yeah, I'm throwing that gauntlet out there right now.
All right,
we can't let it happen.
Influence the voters.
It's not like poker where he just got outplayed this last time.
Then we all know he mailed people joints that voted for him. That's how he got the fucking vote. He bought them off the weed.
We go. See, and I even changed it. I had the thumbs up for my vote, but I changed it to the angry face just to not make that the default punch there, as Crank accused that might happen. So,
I
hey,
was thinking the same thing. I was like, come on, thumbs up for me, baby. Thumbs up because I'm going in.
No, you don't get the simple thumbs up. Andy says, I don't believe I've ever seen Ziggy without a hat before that. Probably
Yeah.
not.
So I'm saying they got to cheat. That's how that goes. I deliver a nice, clean hip check in the last event. He's not paying attention. You got to keep your head up, man. You know how this is. This time he's got to take a cheap shot, throw my hat the other way, and takes off into the forum to go look at the shirts to get first crack. It's bullshit,
Goddamn
honestly.
right.
But I don't care. I'm not put off. I'll stand by my choice.
Yeah. No. Patricia says, tough choice. Lots of great shirts. Carrie says, love all four. You got to vote for one, though. S. Michael says, that Evil Dead shirt was badass. It is.
Well, the collage.
Yeah. And David says, Ziggy's got my vote. Totally different shirt. Very original. It is. It is. And Kiara says, I do like the difference in Zag's shirt. Crank's shirt is pretty in colors. Thank you. Love the classic Evil Dead, but the Hey Jerk Speed Kills has me in a chokehold. Nice. All right. Fine. Damn it. I was hoping I would get this one, but maybe not. We'll see. I would probably vote for Colonel's, honestly.
Hey, you know what's funny? I'm going to tell you this now, Crank. You know that shirt you're wearing? Remember I went to Days of the Dead Indianapolis?
Yeah.
With, Caitlin and Zoe, and I was supposed to be a civilian, but yet I ended up walking down and interviewed David. I ended up working any fucking way. I bought Caitlin that same shirt. It's a cool shirt.
I love this shirt.
I like it.
All right, so... Uh-oh. Did his internet just go out?
I think so.
God damn it, Ziggy.
Instead of why horror, we should make this about Zigzag. Like, why don't you change your internet provider?
Oh, man. All right. Anyway, what we're going to be talking about today is why horror? What was it about horror that sunk its teeth into you guys and us? And what keeps us coming back for more, even though a lot of us agree horror has kind of gone downhill since its heyday, regardless when you think the heyday is. Man, hold on. I got to hit this.
There's some good comments.
David says, pay your damn bills, Zigzag. Dave says his internet has a death curse.
And I even like Kiara's, like the whole Black Magic deal.
Yep, Kiara says Ziggy cursed her too much with the witch, and it's come back to him. Perfect. But yeah, so what got you into horror? Was it an older brother, older sister introduced you to it? Was it a just happenstance? You went to the wrong movie? Or the movie you went to was sold out, so you decided to try something else? And yeah, what was it? So, Colonel, what was it for you? How did you get into horror?
Well, give me 1 second. Research department. Lost internet. Yep, that's what I thought.
Oh, is that what he said?
Yeah. I've told the story multiple times. I'll tell it again with a little bit more detail, I guess, to kill time until Ziggy gets here. My entire family has always been horror fans. I mean, as far as back as I know, that's all. They watch it. I was obsessed to the point where I'm at. Like I reach the top level of obsession. But I mean, like one of my earliest memories is seeing a scene from Child's Play on my grandmother's TV. Didn't scare me. I wasn't really watching it. I just remember seeing Chucky going, the ladders outside one of the buildings.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. I was a real big fan of the real Ghostbusters cartoon as a kid. Not necessarily horror, but I guess it grew to me for the greatest Christmas present of all time. I would dub the VHS tape with 4 movies on it, the number 1 movie being The Monster Squad. And that is when horror, I was like 4 years old, and I'm like, I dig this shit. It was about the monsters at first, and the older I got, that's when it was the slashers and the paranormal and all that. But yeah, The Monster Squad. Hence why I ride that movie's dick to this day. I mean, come on, man. This is perfect. Kids beating the monsters. And, you know, the late 80s, early 90s, Universal Monsters were still kind of relevant. I mean, hell, people in the 90s kids remember this. I had a fucking Creepy Crawlers machine. And one year for my birthday, I got the Universal Monster molds. I was so fucking pumped because that's what I wanted. I want the monster molds. It's fucking awesome, man.
Nice.
That's why I love that shit today.
Well, should we make up a story for Zigzag while he's out of here? It's tempting, isn't it?
It is.
And then see how close we are.
Yeah. Like, the reason I got in horror is one word: Detroit. That's where I live. Yeah.
I grew up on the wrong side of Detroit. It was horror there.
Yeah. I grew up on the east side of Detroit. Dudes.
Oh, no. We better not. We better save that for him. So Monster Squad at age 4. Huh?
Yes.
Wow. That's pretty young. How the people that are out there watching, how young were you in the comments when you saw your first horror film? And did it sink its teeth into you then, or did you just grow to like it later? So let us know in the comments, please.
Like I said, if I could, I'd dig it out because I still have the VHS to this day. Like, literally, I wore out the Monster Squad. It had other movies on there. I'd watch them, that shitty He-Man movie, Masters of the Universe. Had the animated Charlotte's Web on there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like, it was just a little bit of everything my uncle thought I would like. And for a reason, he chose the fucking Monster Squad, and that's the one that I was like, that's my shit.
Nice.
I was that weird kid, I guess. We just didn't know we were weird. So somehow we all became that weird kid. Somehow, I guess.
And see, that's part of what I want to explore with this, because I know this was kind of a last-minute topic to come up with, but I think this is going to be something kind of interesting to dissect out, not only ourselves, but kind of our audience, and it's just interesting. But I do want to get into that, about did you feel weird because you were a horror fan, and did you find yourself kind of huddled with the other weird kids growing up, as you grew and still liked horror, and because they were the ones that liked horror too?
Man, that's kind of hard to answer. Was even growing up, I played baseball, I played football. I was kind of that jock, but I wasn't a jock. I just enjoyed playing sports. But that's it. That's the only thing I had in common with my teammates. They liked whatever was popular. I liked heavy metal and fucking horror. Like, that was my shit. And Star Wars and other nerdy things. So I was always a little bit of an outcast just based on my likes then. But it was weird because by the time I got to high school, I was one of those weird kids where I was able to intermingle with all social groups. I didn't have one myself, but I could fit in all of them. That's what I could kind of do based on my sense of humor. Like, okay. But there was nobody that liked horror as much as I did. Like, yeah, they'd watch Friday the 13th, this and that. But I'd be like, oh, I bring, Dawn of the Dead. This is a funny story. It's my senior year in high school. We're in a study hall. And everybody's talking about these movies they like. And, I think House of 1,000 Corpses was like the newest movie that came out. And we're talking about that. I was like, yeah. They're like, oh, it's gory. I'm like, have you not seen Zombie or Dawn of the Dead? And they're like, no. So I talked to the teacher and let me bring in my VHS copy, which was the good one, the rainbow colors and shit like that, of Dawn of the Dead for us to watch in study hall. Did I miss something?
No, I'm just saying, oh boy, the teacher let you play this?
He let me play it until the scene at the project and all the racial slurs started coming out. And I wasn't allowed to bring in any more movies. These people missed a chance to watch a great fucking movie. I even told her, I was like, Miss Six, we get past this, racial shit stops until the very end, kind of. But it's a good movie. Michael, take it out. I was like, fuck. All right.
Dude, we should have known each. Well, we should have known each other younger then, because I could have edited that VHS up for you.
Should
where you could have shown it. Oh, look at this
really?
Fucking. Hold the fuck on.
If you're gonna hustle for votes, I'm going to say
this is some bullshit.
While we got
Going
Colonel's changing into a shirt, check this out up close and personal here. Let's take a look here. In fact, you know what? I'm going solo here.
I know you are. I'm working on it. There you go.
Oh, yeah. See?
This is bullshit.
3 to play this fucking game, goddammit. Like that? Fuck you.
Well, now we need to get FaZe in here. Damn it.
FaZe, put on the Evil Dead shirt.
Yeah, I know.
Right, Colonel, give us a show.
Yeah, gotta give you my FaceTime back. Look at that. Who wouldn't want to vote for this? Simple, but yet elegant and intelligent.
I like it, but
look at that. It's beautiful. Can't see my mouth, which is good, but look at that shit. Fucking beautiful.
That is beautiful, man. I'm telling you, I would probably vote for yours just because I like it so much.
Let's get out of that solo shit.
I did. God damn it. Come creeping back up in here. What's up, James?
What's up, James? Welcome, buddy. Vote zigzag.
We will see. Stop that. No campaigning. No campaigning this close to a polling place.
I'm here to fill your prescriptions. That's all. Let me adjust my tie here.
And nobody give him any water while he's waiting in line. That's some bullshit. No, I love the fact that you come back in wearing the shirt, you asshole.
Well, I was waiting for the fucking internet to reboot. I figured I had time, and then I went, hey, cocksucker has his shirt on. I'm going to go ahead and put mine on, too.
No, I've been dying to wear this on the show, but I'm like, we haven't shown them or anything yet, so I might as well not show it. I thought I had one more week.
Tyrone knows what's up.
Well, man, I had to back up a lot for comments because we got to talking about like what was our first horror and how we got into it, and Colonel told his story, but I asked the viewers to send in some comments. So S. Michael says, my stoner parents took me to the drive-in and thought I was asleep in the back when they watched King Kong, Texas Chainsaw, Jaws 2, and Halloween.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
I hope that was 4 different nights.
Yeah, or at least 2 different nights. Usually it's a double feature. So.
Yeah, I hope that wasn't.
You guys have been there till 6 a.m. That's
right.
Good.
Raymond's in the house. Hello, fellas. Hello.
What's up, Raymond? What's that?
Dave says, my mom got me into horror because she said, I will rent you anything, but I will not rent you that movie called Blade Runner. Who even knows why she said that? But thanks, Mom. She rented me the final chapter. I think he said chapter later. Yep. Oh, fuck. There it is. and the rest is history.
Thank goodness for
there
that.
You go. Yeah, absolutely. Patricia says, USA Up All Night was my routine horror viewing, but meeting John Russo when I was a little girl, knowing he helped make a zombie movie, captured my interest. Very cool. Andy says, honestly, I was a very imaginative kid, scared to death of the dark and the woods and of everything. We lived out in the middle of nowhere, 1 mile from the old Ed Gein place. I guess for me, it was all about the trying to face my fears thing. I do recall the TV broadcast of Carrie absolutely scaring me to death, including the ending. All right. David says, 10 years old, my dad took me to see Friday the 13th, 1979.
Yeah.
I think he corrects himself here in a second, though. Patricia says, my mother was obsessed with celebrating Halloween and dressing up. So there are some parents that are influencing this. That's good.
Yes. I mean, it has to be. My dad used to, when we were real little, I mean, he would stop at the supermarket and buy those shitty rubber masks they'd sell there. And he would stand outside the fucking picture window and just stare in there he'd get up step ladder and just stare in the fucking window until one of us noticed. And God forbid if it was my sister, because she would lose her shit, man. But I was always like, wow, I always wanted to see the mask after the gag was over with, I mean, not that I wasn't scared to death as well.
Yeah, David says, oops, 81, I think it actually is, yes. S.
Two?
Michael, no, Friday, I think the first one.
80, right?
Well, he may have seen it in 81, though.
Right. I mean, 79, 80 was it came out that.
Right.
It followed Halloween like a year later.
Right. S. Michael says, I was 2 when he saw Kong and Jaws 2, and then 3 when he saw Texas Chainsaw on Halloween. I don't know how to think of watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre at 3 years old. That's
pretty
crazy.
intense.
Yeah. He said, no doubt it led to an obsession. All right. Raymond says Nightmare 3 when he was 6 and he was hooked.
Jeebus, man.
Carrie, yeah, you guys are kicking my ass. Wow. Carrie says, not quite horror, more thriller. I was 7 when I saw 5 Desperate Women here on UK late night TV.
Nice.
All right.
See, we did, like, I've told the story before, but my dad used to show us the Super 8 films. They used to sell these at Kmart, and they didn't have any sound, and it was just like a clip show, about 7 minutes worth of Frankenstein, Dracula, the classics like that, Creature from the Black Lagoon, The Creature Walks Among Us, all that kind of shit. And we'd watch it in the hallway. We'd sit there in the dark and just right on the wall. And I remember, I must have been 4, 5 when I saw that. And that led to the Saturday afternoon horror shows. And that led to, you want to go see a movie? You know, and like we'd see the trailer. It was Alien. He took us to see Alien, me and my brother. My sister was too young. She didn't get to go. But the same couple weeks later, we kept seeing that they were pumping the hell out of it on TV. Fulci's Zombie came to America. And he took us to see that after seeing that trailer. And, man, that was fucked up. But was that same summer, maybe, me and my brother went to see Alligator, that shitty 80s movie, which was paired with another little movie I'd never heard of called Halloween. And that's what fucking destroyed me and pulled me into this world. And I was like, I don't ever recall feeling like this. I was scared to death, but excited and just wanted more. It was the weirdest feeling. But
so it was Halloween for you? That was the one that got its hooks into you?
Well, I mean, for the gore, it was Fulci. And I was reading Fangoria magazine, me and my brother, regularly at that point. So we were already seeing all the stuff. And by then, even a lot of the best stuff in the fucking magazine was getting cut from the movie before it ever, you know what I mean? So you'd see the stuff getting made, and then it wouldn't make the movie, or it would just be like that quick of a cut, you know? So I got to see Fulci's Zombie. That was pretty wild, even when it came here. You know, that cut, whatever cut that was, had all the shit in it, all the eye poke and the brains and shit. And but then going to see Halloween, that was scary. Yeah. That was scary.
I think Colonel's was the Monster Squad. Yeah.
Sorry, Loomy Cat.
I understand. Let's see here. Lorena says, I wasn't supervised a whole lot when I was little. I just watched what was on out in the boonies. We got some weird indie channels with the standard horror host shows. Plus, my uncles thought it'd be funny to let their little niece watch scary shit. Family bonding. Very nice.
I remember watching The Exorcist on regular TV. You know, first time they broadcast, Channel 7, and eating fried eggs with my family, all sitting around there. And they showed the fucking vomit scene. Like, right, it was perfect timing. It was wonderful. And I just remember that was kind of one of those drop the fork moments where people were like, okay. That's the end of the egg.
Dude, I don't even want to talk The Exorcist. Like I said, I had this babysitter growing up where she kind of just let us do whatever. And her oldest son was a little slow. That's not trying to be mean, just the truth. But he loved horror movies, man. So he'd be like, you want to watch this with him? Fuck yeah. Yeah. So I was about 8 or 9, man. He's like, you want to watch The Exorcist? I was like, yeah. Dude, nightmares for fucking weeks. That is the only movie that scared the fuck out of me. Like, that movie, I close my eyes, I see her fucking face, like, scared. Yeah. And I've been so desensitized since then. It's like, all right.
And that's another question I want to get into later, but we'll save that for a second. Let me try to get through the rest of these comments here. Kiara says, for me, I don't remember it being introduced to me. I was just existing one day and watching it. My family, consisting of my mom and 2 older sisters, we all loved horror growing up, and I also really loved watching my oldest sister playing horror games. I don't remember what my first horror movie was, but my earliest memories of horror movies I've seen were Carrie, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Child's Play, and Hellraiser. All I can really say was I was watching horror since a toddler, I guess. Man, I thought I was a early bird horror aficionado at 6 or 7. But
Yeah.
you guys are kicking my ass in that respect. Lorena says, also PBS would run old movies with the full shebang. Yep, previews, cartoons, serials, noir, sci-fi, horror movies. Yeah, PBS got away with a lot for some reason, I guess because they were educational in some.
I do remember our UHF channel 20 here, and their station manager coming on going, some kind of free speech stance. We're going to run Friday the 13th part 2, uncut and uncensored.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, and it was, they did, but what they do is right when the shit happened, the deaths would happen, they'd show the death scene, and it would fade to black and go to commercial, like right then. So they still did kind of chintzy.
Still kind of edited it.
Yeah, wasn't quite as good as it could have been.
Right. All right. Ziggy, there you go. Tyrone says, Zag, that shirt is the bomb.
This guy would know, okay? Fucking Marine. I'm saying?
Quit kissing ass. Seriously. S. Michael says, Close Encounters of the Third Kind gave me nightmares in 77. The scene when the kid gets abducted through the doggy door was a real nightmare fuel. Yes.
Dude. It's true.
And he says, PBS was the best. Yes. In some respects, yes. Lorena, later the local video stores would stock any damn thing they could get their hands on. Lots of crazy stuff. That's right.
Oh, I would influence the little store behind our house. I would tell them, hey, you got to get this. And they'd be like, oh, yeah. They'd have the catalog. I'd be like circling shit. They're like, definitely get that.
Yeah. Just based on the boxes sometimes.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah.
Yes, of course. No one saw none of these B movies back then.
Lorena says, Carrie still scares Andy. Don't be throwing him under the bus like that. That's not right.
What the fuck?
Yeah. They're all going to laugh at you.
Yes. You know what? That's still, she's one of the scariest villains of all time. I mean, the ending when she's the sign of the cross with the knife going after, try to finish off Carrie.
Mm-hmm.
That made my hair stand up and caused me to stay awake at night for that.
Oh, yeah.
Doing that.
Piper Laurie was terrifying in that movie. Patricia, did you guys rent movies based on fun covers? That's also what did it for me. The more bizarre the artwork, the better. Well, we know Ziggy's answer to that already.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, of course. Like Zigzag said, I mean, granted, these movies were out for a while by the time I got around to renting them. Unlike Zag. Just fucking with you.
What can I say?
But yeah, it was all about the movie cover. And like was discussed last week, unfortunately for some of those great movie covers, I forgot them because I enjoyed the movie so much more.
Yeah.
Than the art, so.
Yeah, right. I think just based on our conversation last week, we can say all of us did that, at least to some extent. But
yeah, but that shit pissed me off last week, man. That sucked. I could have done a top 100 posters, covers for shit, man. It would have been easy. And then we'd
still be on the air.
Goddamn, 5. We had to get it down to 5. So I had no choice but just to go, okay, what really smacked my face, tattooed my brain upon first vision, and those 5 I came up with. Yeah, some of the movies are terrible in that list, but the fucking boxes were sweet.
Yeah.
So yes.
All right. Let me have
the collar of the shirt doesn't even go all the way around the fucking shirt. That's cheap.
Hey, you just don't because you're not properly. It's a tie affair, my friend, and you don't have one. So shut the fuck up.
I could have gotten one of those shirts like forever ago.
Kids, be nice.
He even said it's low quantities.
Girls, you're both pretty. Calm down.
Yeah, I remember that shit.
All right, Kiara says.
Didn't have a size 4, motherfucker. That's all it was.
Also, Nightmare on Elm Street was another film I remember as an early horror memory that she forgot to include. As Michael says, I spent my whole 18th year renting all the best and worst horror movies at the video store. What a blast. Dave says, Crank, I guess my first horror movie was The Wizard of Oz by the description I sent you earlier. Yes, possibly. Carrie says, Lisa and the Devil was my first proper horror. I was 8.
Never saw that one.
I don't know that one either, I don't think. Lorena says, they didn't care how old we were. I don't even remember having a membership or anything for rentals at the local grocery store, though it's possible we just used parents' membership long time ago. Yes. Yeah, you had to always fill out some kind of card, little membership card.
I had a buddy who did that. Like his dad he'd go to the Dairy Marts and the little 7-Elevens and stuff, and he would stock the videos, the rentals back. This is like shit, mid 80s. And he always had 3 milk crates full of anything. So, I mean, classics, they would mix it all in there back then. Wasn't quite as sophisticated as the Red Box, but we'd always dig the horror out of there. And I actually saw a couple of classics in there that way, like that. Near Dark definitely came out of that milk crate.
S. Michael says, absolutely. Some of my favorites were Horror Hospital, Frankenstein 80, Blood-Sucking Freaks, and Night of the Bloody Apes. Those are some B hits right there.
Wow.
He says he saw The Howling on regular TV when he was 8, blew his mind. Yeah. I remember that. I remember when that aired like that. BK, your mother cooks socks in hell. There you go.
Little SNL rewind there. Nice.
Right. Patricia, TNT Monster Vision was also a favorite when I was younger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Colonel agrees. Tiara, I happened to get my little nephew, who is currently 7, into horror when he was about 3 or 4. I am to blame for a future horror addiction if he grows up to have one. Send him our way. We'll still be here, I hope. S. Michael, the TV broadcast of American Werewolf in London was the straw that broke the camel's back. The Puritan Brigade really cracked down after that. I believe that. Man, you guys are
werewolf. Dude,
active tonight. I love it. Stacy Lynn, hey, DCS family. I'm just getting on, doing college school work and kids going to bed. What are we talking about? We're talking about like why horror sunk its teeth into you. When did it happen? What was the movie that got you? How old were you? Who influenced this decision? That kind of stuff. We're going to move on, though, for some more comments here. Dave, I rented porn based on fun covers. It's terrible. I forgot to screen some of these. I need to always screen Dave's comments. S. Michael. Oh, there. Yep. Thank you, S. Michael. David says, my parents took me to see The Shining while we were staying in a hotel. Bad idea. I was young, and it scared the bejesus out of me the whole week we were on vacation. Lorena says, I love the fact that Carrie still scares Andy. He's fun to watch horror movies with until he rips my arm off.
Carrie has the soundtrack. I mean, the whole thing just works, man.
Oh, yeah. And Lorena says, oh, Joe Bob. Yeah. You can't forget Joe Bob.
The new season of Last Drive-In starts this Friday at 9 p.m. people, Eastern time.
No, there's a nice little
watch the first movie before I have to go to sleep because I have to work the next day. But
there's a nice little plug for you, Shutter. We're still waiting for our phone call.
Send a check.
That too. So, this question came up earlier, and I wanted to kind of ask it. I'll start with you, Ziggy. When you found yourself at a young age enjoying horror, did you find yourself kind of finding did you feel like you felt like the weird kid? Did you find yourself kind of joining other weird kids that liked horror? And how did that how did that affect your formative years as a teenager and growing up like that?
I heard you say weird kid. I'm looking at one bar right now. There's 2. There's 3. Okay. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Thank you.
You missed that entire question?
Well, I heard you say, was I considered the weird kid, or did I have others that were into it as well?
Basically, yeah. Go with that.
Yeah. We had a nice group of friends that we would go, and it rotated. There was a few that came in and out. But we'd definitely go, and fuck, man. One summer, it was a little later we were already well-established horror gore fans, and I think it was the summer of 87 or 88, and we found that the door at the movie theater was jimmied. You could get in there, man. So we saw everything that summer, and every horror movie that came out, anything. It didn't matter. All summer long, the whole time we were out of school that summer. We went to every fucking movie. And but yeah. We had good friends that were into it. and we all love to go as a group and ah ha ha and be loud and obnoxious against it and stuff. But I was younger. I was more dialed into, and I guess scared. In that big ass theater when you're sitting in there at like 9, 10, 11, 12. It's a little different than when you're 17, 18. I mean, it seems more dangerous. You're more It's more threatening.
Okay.
I mean, but yeah, definitely. We had friends. Yeah. Go ahead.
Personally, I always kind of felt like the weird kid anyway. The horror just kind of was another layer of weirdness on top of my weirdness. So it didn't really bother me too much. But there were a few, I guess you would call them the goth friends that I had. It was before really goth was a thing. But if they were still around, they would have been goth friends. Always had the trench coat on. There were like 2 or 3 of the guys that had trench coats and, long hair and smoked out back of the middle school and the high school. But
I know the type.
We would talk horror, occasionally, but you bring up horror to, some of the football players, and they had no idea what the hell you were talking about, which was kind
I
of
heard Colonel say that earlier. Like a lot of them knew the mainstream stuff, but not any of the obscure stuff. I mean, like when I remember it kind of became a big popular topic when Pieces came out. And like, oh, you got to see this, man. And I remember limited run at the theater, but so it did get around, man. But I'm telling you, it was Fangoria magazine and Starlog magazine that covered this stuff. Was the only way you heard about any of this. It was
a lot of it, yeah.
No internet back then.
Well, I think we can all agree that the heyday of horror was probably the 80s. Am I wrong in that assumption, Colonel? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree. I think everybody would agree with it. The heyday is the 80s.
Okay.
The VCR helped.
Right. Well, and that was when Fangoria was around and really prominent in its day. I know it's still around. Don't fucking send me emails and bullshit. I know it's still around, but it was a huge deal in the 80s. I mean, I remember I never subscribed to it, but every time we went to the grocery store or whatever, I was at the magazine rack looking for that and just thumbing through it. And I was the cheap guy.
But no, we had this joint, and I didn't get it every single month, but like if we ever found ourselves by this bookstore, I'd be always like, "Hey, Mom, let's swing in there to the bookstore," and sure enough, they would always have this month's Fangoria, and man, I would grab it and just absorb every page, every sentence, everything. Ads, all of it.
Well, Ziggy, you and I were lucky enough to actually grow up during the 80s. Mm-hmm. So we were kind of there. Colonel, I know the 90s were not the best years for horror, but were there any 90s horror that you really gravitated to when you were growing up, or did you just automatically jump back to some of the old stuff?
I mean, it was a mixed match, because you're right. A lot of the 90s horror just wasn't good. To me, there were some fucking good ones. The Candyman, that was one I gravitated towards. Fucking loved it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I still like in the second Candyman movie. I still think it's fucking great. Pumpkinhead 2, I really fucking like, because that came out in the 90s, and I seen that before I seen the first one. I'll admit it's fucking trash now, but I still love it. And you guys know my fondness for the Wishmaster series. It came out in the late 90s. I was right at that perfect age. Rented that. I was like, whoa, So, yeah, I mean, I'd say the 90s had some good ones, but I was well aware they weren't quite as good as the shit I saw from the 80s. Like, it's obvious. The acting could have been just as bad, but the feel was different. The look was different. It didn't have that grittiness to it like some of the 80s horror movie does. By the 90s, it was a little bit brighter, if that makes sense. Like, the cinematography, they try to keep it a little bit brighter than I noticed in most of the 80s movies. I really like that.
Okay. So what was it about either a particular movie or the genre in general that you really needed more of from a fan perspective? Like, Ziggy, when you saw Fulci, you saw the gore. Did you just automatically want more gore in every movie that you saw? Is that how you progress through horror?
I was super blown away by what they did in Zombie and abso-fucking-lutely. I mean, also, I saw Alien with the chess scene, dude. That was fucking ridiculous in '79, man. You know what I mean? No one done anything like that around here in the States. And then fucking getting right to Fulci, and then from there, you know what I mean? You had to go and kind of search around, and then you find out about Bava and Argento and everything, because a lot of the movies didn't really get a big release that I remember. Do you remember, like,
No.
The Beyond getting any kind of play? I mean,
no,
at all. I never remember that being in theaters at all, not once.
Dude, I was 18 or no. I may have heard about Suspiria, like when I was 16.
Yeah, but that was always like the special midnight movie around here. It'd be like,
yeah, that's how it was done with me too.
Okay, and you had, that's the ones they'd give you a vomit bag and stuff, the gimmicks and shit. Okay, I did see a lot of fucking cool classic '80s horror in those elements, in those midnight movies. Only one showing only, tonight.
Right.
And then that's it. So yes.
But no, I mean, growing up, at least in southern Midwestern Oklahoma, no, Fulci, nobody knew who he was when I was growing up in the '80s. Nobody knew who, Baba was, or any of the Italian filmmakers. Foreign films were completely foreign in Oklahoma. There wasn't a market for it. So. But I do remember Suspiria being, in some of the midnight movies, like you were talking about. I do remember that. Colonel, how about you? What was it about? You mentioned the Monster Squad as a main influence. What was it about the Monster Squad that hooked its teeth into you and was just like, you're coming with us?
Dude, for one, it was the creature design. They all looked fucking great. I think we all admit that. Especially the Wolfman. Oh boy, the Wolfman. That motherfucker's terrifying. As you can see, he's on my fucking wall of fame. Yeah. So the Wolfman, and then you have the slasher they like to watch, the Groundhog Day 13 or whatever. They're watching the drive-in. The shit was gone by the time I was a kid. There's barely a few around here, and we never went to the drive-in. But I could live vicariously through Sean watching this movie as a kid, and then, like I said, it's just kids, winning the day, beating the monsters because the adults didn't believe them. I mean, they were adults to me because they're like 8 years older than me at the time when I was fucking watching it. But man, and then like the awesome scene when the Wolfman gets blown up with dynamite, it fucking shreds, land in the fucking road, and he just pops up and starts coming back together. I was like, whoa. Like, I guess fast forward a few years later, I finally see Dawn of the Dead. I think I was 12 or 13 when I finally seen that. And it's just the gore in that. I was like, oh, I like this. Dude. And that all kind of generated with the Wolfman, with the gore. Like, ooh, that's cool. But Dawn of the Dead, I was like, whoa, fuck. This is amazing.
So, seeing characters that you could relate to, like the younger protagonist, that helped. But you were attracted to the gore as well. It sounds like
everybody knows me and Zach are the gore whores of the show. Zach more so than me, I'll admit. I mean, I love my fucking gore. So there's no way I'm saying City of the Living Dead is better than The Beyond.
Oh fuck! Don't start me on this shit. That was an experience, man. Just seeing that nonsense on a big screen, and again, I didn't put it together at that time that was also Fulci. I recognized the style, like the zooming into the eyes. That's something Fulci does. And just when those gore scenes hit in that fucking movie, though, I fucking felt the scars on my brain. You know what I mean? It was like, holy shit, I'm never going to ever forget that, And I need to see it again. And, the videos weren't there yet. We're still 4 years away from VHS. So, I mean, it was a while. I never forgot it, though. And then, fuck yeah, once it came out, I was all like, that poster would go back to last week. My number one pick, The Gates of Hell. That fucking poster. I saw that box in that video store the first time I was in there. And
I have to watch this.
I know this is that movie. Like Paragon Video put it out, of all people,
I don't think they're around anymore.
No.
All right, let me hit a couple of these comments real quick. Lorena says, "Fuck, really? A new Joe Bob season this Friday? I better not have to work late." Yeah, better check your schedule. FaZe says, "It's tough to pinpoint exactly when I fell in love with horror. I've always been into all mediums of horror, be it film, books, or video games. My dad and I would watch a lot of horror, which has led to me having a ton of movies in my head that I have no name to." Yeah. Some of my earliest exposure would be probably from the internet, having grown up in the 2000s mainly. Okay. And he continues with, Halloween was definitely the first horror film that I remember absolutely loving, soon followed by Alien, which is now a personal favorite. There you go. I'm going to keep on with the FaZe thread here. I didn't have many friends that liked horror while growing up. I remember scaring the absolute hell out of one friend after showing them Halloween. You have to. You have to try to get a cheap scare on a friend if they haven't seen a particular horror movie. That's a rule. That's a rule.
So intense.
Lorena says, "I would like it stated for the record that I did not fully approve of the movies Chris watched with his dad. They had me good and snowed. I remember letting him watch Friday the 13th when he was 16. No harm, no foul, though. He turned out well. I think he turned out all right."
Yeah, we'll give you the pass on that one. I almost hit the buzzer, but I was like, nah, fuck no. FaZe is a good dude.
Patricia says, like Lorena, even the categories. Patricia says, like Lorena, wasn't really supervised growing up. Mom died young, and my dad worked. I was a tomboy who enjoyed being creative and watching crazy movies. No siblings.
Oh.
All right. S. Michael says, I think most of the military brats I hung out with loved horror. I remember describing every moment of Jason Lives to a bunch of kids who gathered around to hear about the new Friday movie I was lucky enough to see before them. We didn't care as much about spoilers in those days.
Yeah.
Nice. Dave says, I was the kid that apparently had the cool parents when it came to movie rentals. Friday the 13th, Porky's Revenge of the Nerds, all of the rated R shit. My dad would also take some of us to the theater and have to sign waiver forms. So awesome.
Right, the waiver forms. That's what I'm talking about. You'd sign the waiver, they'd give you a vomit bag or and then the pins or whatever that came with it for the whatever showing they were showing.
Yeah.
That was cool stuff. That added to your,
bonus experience.
Right, it just kind of played on your your anticipation of going in there, right? Just making you freak out.
And your psyche.
Yes.
Yeah. Andy says, my best friend and I were a vampire and a werewolf, respectively, in primary school, but then I started to question his commitment to sparkle motion. Nope. Not getting into that. Kiara says, horror also... Thank you.
Yes.
Horror also influenced me to start scare acting at 19. Feeling like a monster in a horror movie, scaring people and being mean to jerks is fun.
Oh, yes.
I get that.
Yes.
I definitely get that. Lorena, siblings are or were the best for scaring the bejesus out of. I take no responsibility for any trauma my brothers may still be dealing with. Patricia says, I read a lot of horror novels too, not as much as back then though. Got yelled at in English class back in high school for reading a horror novel. I read horror even in grade school. Like I read The Shining really fucking young because I grew up in a motel and like my parents owned a motel. And I found this book and I'm reading the back of it thinking, what the hell is this about? Oh, it's about a kid that's staying over the winter in a hotel. Yeah, oh, cool. I'll check that out. Yeah, my mom was not happy when she finally noticed I was reading The Shining after dinner, but she let me finish it. S. Michael, of course, Fangoria was my favorite magazine, but most stores around me didn't carry it, so I ended up being more of a Mad guy. Oh, man.
What, me worry?
I love the old Mad magazines, man. And even their parodies of horror movies were great.
Yes.
They gave you a nice little in.
Whole other discussion there.
Dave says, I'm a 76 baby, so I'm a fossil too. Join the club, sir. BK says, Ziggy was an introducer of horror in my life. From Salem's Lot to Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things to Evil Dead. Even if it was scary, I saw it with Ziggy. Nice.
Yeah, that Salem's Lot was. I remember that shit, dude. That was intense for a couple of an 8-year-old and a 7-year-old or 6-year-old. So watching that for the first time, that's
And James agrees. He says, "Yes, Salem's Lot."
And you know what? The more I hear about this and the love for Salem's Lot, I can't help but this remake that's coming. I hope they do it justice because that first one is special.
Yeah, we're gonna have to review that at some point down the road. Be ready. Let's see here. You guys are talking about a few books, dance lessons.
I read I had individualized reading in 10th grade. I read it over the entire semester. I stretched it out and just made it. I was about to get a fucking F because I picked it. The book was too fucking thick.
Speaking of reading, being a 90s kid, I think that's where I got super lucky. And like I said, horror was kind of in the 90s to an extent. Dude, the scary stories telling dark and Goosebumps. Like grade school, that's all anybody fucking read. Like, I had to have the fucking Goosebumps book. Like, Night of the Living Dummy. Hello, that was the shit.
No, I remember going to like a book exchange place. Like you take your books in there and you get credits, and you could get other books. And I remember picking up like all the Friday the 13th adaptions, the Halloween adaptions, but I'd find original stuff. And then the chick started like going, "Hey, I know you like horror. I got this came in," and she'd have a couple in there, and I'd be like, "All right, let me have that one." So I got to read some like independent stuff that never became movies or anything. They were just stories about, a lot of slashers. I was shocked at how many slasher books there were that they couldn't find a way to adapt it into a movie. As many as it was the same tired formula, treaded and shit, but still, man, there were some good ideas that never got done.
Right. Now, back in the 80s and even early 90s, there was a big parental and even governmental push against violence in movies. Horror movies were brought up into a lot of this. And, they were talking about just movies in general, but, mostly horror movies and even heavy metal music were degrading the youth of America with lyrics and imagery and different images of violence on screen. Now, we were growing up during that time. Colonel, you remember some of that, right? As a kid?
Well, yeah, but that shit was very well established by the time
it was well established by the time.
Yeah. I just remember my uncle talking about Dee Snider like he was a fucking hero.
Oh, yeah.
So,
fucking great.
He was. But
Ziggy, what do you remember of that time as a kid? And was that one of the early points in your young life thinking, man, these people in government have no idea what the fuck is going on with real people?
Yeah, I was like, well, this is tax money well spent. No, seriously, I at the time, because to me, as far as the music, they went after the horror movies, but they really went after the heavy metal. And I was a big heavy metal guy, but the shit they were like picking on Motley Crue and everything and
right.
stuff like that. And here is Slayer and Venom and Possessed saying the most rank shit you could possibly. And we would laugh. They're like, "Oh, look at this! Shout at the devil!" And like they have no idea what's going on these other records. It was really funny, but yeah, just it was such a joke. There were so many better things they could have got to work on and fixed, and that was the platform they chose. Yes, is absolutely a first early indicator of how useless and time and money wasting the government could be.
Now, but do you feel like horror affected you, mentally or emotionally at a young age?
Not at all. I used to draw pictures and stuff like that. I mean, I guess is that destructive and stuff. I remember though seeing movies essentially uncut, like the early Fridays with good gore in it, like Final Chapter. Fuck, man. And then it was right around 85, 86 is when they started slapping down the MPAA and you got to take this out and you got to take that out, which is what led me to seeing Texas Chainsaw 2, like a rated X cut, an unrated cut, they called it. Just to be able to see it in its entirety, because the version that you had to see with the R rating, you wouldn't want to see. It was bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Colonel, what about you?
Yeah, I don't know. But to finish it, I don't feel it made me any worse of a person or value human life any differently. I always had it in my head, this is art. Somebody's creating these effects. It's a skill. It's a practice. So it's telling a story. So no, I don't ever think that I was being warped the wrong way by horror movies or metal.
Yeah. What about you, Colonel? Do you feel like it changed you at all? Or, did it affect your mental well-being, your emotional well-being growing up?
Fuck no. This is like a kid, like violent shit. Now, you guys have to remember, now, when you were coming up, the Motley Crue and Slayer, they were going after that. Dude, we had Mortal Kombat, and then all the controversy about Mortal Kombat came out. I was playing that like 8 when it first came out. And so, I mean, by that point, I was already pretty well established in the gore of that. I mean, fuck, I remember drawing pictures of Scorpion and Sub-Zero fighting in first grade with Scorpion's harpoon going through his chest and with the heart on the end. Of course, it's like a Valentine's Day heart because I didn't fucking know better. That's how you drew a heart. But I mean, I was a pretty well-adjusted fucking kid. I just liked fucking gore and violence, as weird as it is. I mean, I think it kind of teaches you what not to do, what not to be,
Mm-hmm. You can actually learn lessons from horror, then, is what you're saying.
I mean, fuck, Freddy Krueger's a pedophile and killing people and shit. You probably don't want to do that. Or else the town's going to fucking lynch you and burn you to death. Like, it's... like, it teaches you... It does teach you a lesson, like, I think.
So, the morality tales within horror films and things like that are more of a lasting effect than the gore or the violence or the nudity.
I mean, to an extent, I'm not going to go that far. But like I said, it's not about morality, but at the same time, I can watch a movie and know this is a bad thing. I probably shouldn't fucking do it. Yeah. I mean, take the Raft and Creepshow too. Maybe if the dude wouldn't have been trying to be a fucking rapist, he would have lived. You know what I mean? Like, you learn. It's fucking... I guess that really, at the end of the day, horror movies are kind of morality tales to an extent. But fuck, you're going way too deep on that shit, dude. Just take that on service level, man.
To me, they were all. I always took it as this is a story, this is a performance, and that helped me deal with some of the heavier kills and stuff like that, or heavier, scarier moments. I'd kind of go like, I'd have to remind myself, there's cameras and crew around there shooting this right now, So, but I mean, I just love that you could be swept away if it was a really good story, if it was really scary, you get pulled right into that shit, and that I think was the appeal over. I was like, yeah, how are they going to get to me? What am I going to see this time? In this particular performance, So. But they were always stories, and I knew it was art and stories. Even in my youngest mind of going to horror movies, I always felt that way.
Yeah. I remember when some of the congressional hearings were going on about, the violence and the music and stuff like that. And my dad at first, I believe, was the one that was just like, well, we need to, not let little guys see horror movies anymore. And my mom was kind of my defender at the time. Talking about but he gets it. He knows, that they're just stories, and just like your Hawaii 5-0 that you're addicted to watching, Dad. It's the same kind of thing. And I remember talking at one point to my dad and just, him asking me, like, what's your favorite part of a horror movie? And I told him what it was. And then I described like how they achieved the violent part in that movie, like through the makeup and stuff. And I was like, I read in this magazine that they did this, they did that. They used this for the blood. They used this for the skin. And he was like, okay, my wife is right. He does kind of completely understand that. That's kind of weird in a whole different respect. But, that was how I kind of talked my way back into horror movies after one of my parents was like, yeah, we may not want to keep going this route anymore with him. But also something that was heavily prevalent in the 80s that has kind of gone away over the years was horror movies were always looked down upon as, the lowest tier, and they kind of still are, the lowest tier of film entertainment, right above pornography, I guess you could say. But because a lot of like the 80s and 70s horror movies did include nudity, it was where you could go to see some TNA in the 80s without taking that extra step behind the beaded curtain at the video store to go to the back room and find something back there. Do you miss the TNA in horror movies nowadays, Colonel? Or is that a non-essential time relic of the 80s horror?
Well, I wouldn't even say a time-essential relic of the 80s horror. I'll keep this personal, and it's still there. When we've just reviewed X, there's plenty of TNA in that. I can see the point because these guys are trying to sell tickets to the theater. I mean, let's be honest. Friday the 13th is full of fucking TNA. It's just, as a kid, I fucking loved it. That's what I liked watching it for. I mean, but closest thing I could watch to porn as a kid was that one channel on the cable box that was all fucking squirrely. And every once in a while, you might be able to make something out, but you couldn't. So this was the closest thing I had to porn, and I fucking loved it.
Those movies, by the way, were called Red Shoe Diaries, Colonel.
Okay. So anyway, it was scrambled. I couldn't fucking see a goddamn thing, and I knew what was going on. But now as an adult, I mean, it's fuck. I've seen them in real life. Everything else, at this fucking point. So now it's just kind of like non-essential. Even though it's funny because, I watch some horror movies with my older daughter, and I kind of like to make sure I screen them first and then pick if she can watch it or not. But, like a titty scene will pop up, and I'm like, cover your eyes. Because that's what I was told as a kid. Cover your eyes.
Right.
Okay, I'm covering my eyes. But I'm like, she's like, why do I need to cover my eyes? I'm like, you don't need to see this. She's like, I'm a girl.
I have them.
I'm like, oh, yeah. So, well, cover your eyes. Don't look.
What about you, Ziggy? Do you think it's a pastime relic, or does horror need to include nudity and gratuitous sex scenes in some of their movies anymore?
It's funny because Scream kind of made a thing about it. It's one of the rules, you don't have sex, don't get naked. But I mean, it is such one of the main tropes of those old 80s, 70s, 80s movies. That's a big part of it. Do I miss it? I don't know. I mean, does it really add anything to it? I mean, as a guy, sure, I guess. But I mean, I don't, do I need it? No, of course not. I'd rather see Scary again. But I don't know if Hollywood knows how to do it anymore. But yeah, it's, I don't know. It is what it was something back then. It's just kind of the way things were. I know that's not cool to say these days, but it's just a fucking fact, man. It's just the way they did it.
It was, and the original Scream kind of makes fun of this. It was one of those moments where, if you knew a movie well enough, if you'd seen a movie a couple of times, you could be like, oh, the boob scene is coming up. Get ready. Don't blink, or, whatever you were going to do.
I mean, fuck. Our friend Deborah, she still makes fun of that to this day, her scenes from part 5 and everything. So, it's,
I loved them.
Yeah,
loved them. I remember, that's one of the few things I remember we did in high school. I can't believe they didn't block these sites. They didn't show anything, and we'd go in the library, get on the internet, And you have these sites. You type in your movie, and I tell you, you got your scene here, your scene here, your scene here. And we'd be like, all right, we need to rent this movie this weekend.
Well, I want to go back to the Deborah thing. I know you guys. I know you just mentioned that she makes fun of it. Wouldn't you kind of think that's almost a defense mechanism to like, let any of the really weird creepers that come to see her at a convention just kind of be like, she's throwing them a laugh at first to kind of dumb down the creepiness or bring down the creepiness a little bit. Would you see it that way?
I mean, I could see it that way. I mean, I'm not a creepy fucking guy though, so it's. And nor am I ever going to have a creepy guy come talk to me about my fucking man boobs. Like I don't know. I can see it being a defense mechanism for her, especially going to these cons. But I like to think better of 99% of the horror community.
Did you just say you're not a creepy guy?
That's what. Well,
not as creepy as you fucking guy. Shit.
No, but she definitely. I think she knew what she was doing when she got into that role, and I think she has come a long way with it now. And I honestly, genuinely think she's cool with it. Even the creepers that come up and got to say something silly or stupid or inappropriate, she don't give a fuck. She's at the core they're a horror fan, and that's why they're there. I didn't see too many people. I mean, fuck, she's got a picture that almost it's right there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's right fucking there. You can have it autographed. So I mean,
it's on Colonel's wall.
Yeah. Oh, you're one of those guys. Well, there you go.
I'm pretty sure S. Michael probably got the same fucking one. Okay.
I was just kind of curious about that because it's one thing that I hear a lot of horror fans kind of complain about now about modern horror is like, oh no TNA in this one anymore, and it's just. It feels weird to me about that being the thing you're missing in a horror movie. I mean, I appreciate it.
What does it truly add to the story?
No.
Well, actually, Carrie brought something up here. She says, naked makes you vulnerable. I love it.
Yes.
And
a distraction. A distraction for the killer to be able to, because you're not fully focused on your surroundings. You're focused on
Yeah, and I get that. We'll use Friday the 13th, for example. Kevin Bacon, Friday the 13th, 1, 2, people get killed having sex. Mm-hmm. As much as I love the final chapter, was there really, or even part 2, was there any really reason for these people to go skinny dipping at night by themselves? That really didn't add to the fucking story. But yes, the naked makes you vulnerable. Yes, it does. I like that point Carrie made. That's a very good point. But I still don't need it. There's still fucking. You can still fucking the movie and kill. I don't get killed. I don't care. But I'm not saying, man, I wish there were more titties. Like, come on,
right.
You got all the titties in the world on your fucking hand. Okay, just Google it.
Now you can.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now it's like, what's it matter?
Right. I need to back up and read some of these comments here.
Yep, there's a couple of good ones in there.
Dave says, I remember the first horror movie I showed my daughter. I decided on the Ring remake when she was 5. I didn't want her to watch a movie with too much violence and nudity, so I chose that. I got to do this one. When we were talking about the music being banned or censored, Andy says, blame Prince. And you'll see why here in a second. Where was it? Masturbating with the magazine. Yeah, I had to say that one.
Darling Nikki.
I love it when somebody tries to sing that at karaoke. It's always terrible. There we go. Carrie says, we had that here with the Michael Ryan mass shooting in the UK. The film Rambo was condemned to hell because they found copies of it at his home. Yeah. I know nothing about that, but yeah. I'll look into that. Oh, and Dave continues, she's a huge horror fan now, and she remembers that night as an absolutely great memory with her old man.
That's cool. Right. That's
Kudos,
what I'm.
Dave.
Absolutely. I can totally relate to
that. Lorena also says it was fun to watch Tipper and Susie try to read lyrics like "Smell my anal vapor." That's right. Laskin's in the house. Ayo! Happy Monday, DCS.
Laskin.
Here we go. Carrie, is it when the video store started getting? It is when the video store started getting hot on ID. You knew you were fooked. Yes. Yes. And I just like this one. I myself am strange and unusual, from David.
Which is also from
Beetlejuice.
Don't say it. Only say it.
What, you never seen Beetlejuice?
Oh my god.
He's not real. Zag, it's just a movie. It's just a story.
Are you sure?
Positive.
I don't know, man.
All right. Dave says Friday the 13th taught me don't fuck at camp. Good point. Carrie said I had to do this one. Look, I survived Bob from Twin Peaks.
And I still haven't watched it in over a month.
My 9-year-old loves the original House on Haunted Hill with Vincent Price. That's good.
Great taste.
Yes. Dave, the beaded curtain and the giant VHS boxes. LOL. Yes. Those boxes were huge for some reason.
And then you'd open it up and it just the plastic.
The plastic carrier. I still don't understand why.
I mean, there was enough room in that box to have lube and a fucking couple of wet wipes when you're finished and everything.
Man, I don't know. It was weird. Kiara says, I miss nakedness and horror. It kind of added to the realness. Bring back the bush.
Please don't.
Oh, come on.
Yes, Michael. Boobs and blood are a time to honor tradition. Viva la TNA. I like that one. And Dave talking about the scrambled nudity. Awesome. Hoping to see a tit or more. Too funny. The struggle was real. I remember those days too. I do remember those.
Snap in there just for a good 3 count, and you'd be like, "Oh, there it is," and then it would go again. You could hear everything. I mean,
yeah, kind of. You could hear it a little bit.
No, it was ours had perfect sound. It just the image was completely scrambled up.
Ours did not have that. No sound.
No, my sound was screwy. I think.
I feel like I had the advantage here. Then, man, wow.
Patricia says, horror helped me get through multiple surgeries and cancer. It kicked me into survival mode. I feel like Frankenstein's monster sometimes, but not in a bad way. I look at my scars and can't believe how far I've come. Excellent. Excellent. Dave says, I'm not a creepy guy either. Well...
Dave, don't make me do it, man. I'll give you one.
What are you giving?
I'm queued up. If he says anything else fresh, he's going to get the buzzer.
Well, he's going to now. He's been challenged.
Yeah, he's been challenged.
Well, yes.
There we go. Chris says, I've always seen sex scenes as cheap fan service filler. It's fine and all, but everyone does it, and you can't make a sex scene any differently than what has already been done. At least that's my opinion.
I beg to differ.
There are some different ones.
Yeah, did you see X Phase?
Go watch X and then come back to us.
Right. That'll change your whole perspective right there, my friend.
Fuck. I can't remember the name of that movie. Watch that shit. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, God. I can't either right now.
It was a terrible movie.
It was terrible, but
I remember that shit. Like, what the hell is he doing?
There we go. Carrie says, all I know is the horror genre helped me with a relationship breakup. It was a really nasty, bad time for me. Okay, so what is it about horror that people find comforting? Is it that escape? Is it so much of an escape from reality to be in a horror world that it helps soothe you? Ziggy, you want to jump on that?
Yeah, I think that you're in the ballpark. Definitely is a way to just fall out of the whatever's in your real world, in your regular world. A good horror story. I mean, and obviously, yes, a good comedy, a good fucking action movie. All of it would work, but Something about those horror movies, man. They suck you right in if they're done right, and nothing else matters for that hour and a half.
But we've had at least two people, Patricia and Carrie, talking about, got her through cancer and surgeries, and Carrie got her through a bad relationship, and horror was one of the things that drove it. I mean, it's not like she was saying, this Bill Murray collection of movies from the 80s and early 90s got me through, this breakup.
No, but it's precisely what I'm saying. While she's watching horror movies for that hour and a half, 2 hours, she's not in pain. She's not focusing on how fucking shitty she feels. You know what I mean? It's a complete distraction. So yes, I feel like that. I said that right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Colonel, is there comfort in horror movies? You're muted. You're still muted.
Thank you.
There you go.
Yes, but totally different for me.
Okay.
It is escape from reality, but all forms, like Zach said, all forms of entertainment are doing that. I do enjoy the horror more. Granted, you guys know I'm a big comedy fan too. Again, I don't ever get this personal, but I remember very young age, when I was around 4, which kind of makes sense. My grandmother passed away. I was too young to understand. Obviously, I was 4. I didn't know. But I still remember, like it was yesterday, the rest of my family reacting to that news and breaking down, crying, and everything else. And then fast forward a year later, my uncle, who got the VHS tape with the Monster Squad on it, he passed away. So it's like my family dealt with a lot of death when I was at a very early age. And it just like horror kind of comforted me, and still to this day kind of comforts me a little bit to what my biggest fear is. The inevitable. One day we're all not going to be here anymore. I'm fucking terrified of that. But horror helps me deal with it. It's like, it's going to be okay. It's, yes, it's entertainment. I enjoy the fucking entertainment level, but it's kind of how I guess, subconsciously learn to deal with death. I think that's kind of why I did jump into horror and at a young age and watching, Monster Squad, Tales from the Crypt, Are You Afraid of the Dark, anything, Monster Vision, anything to do with horror, I just had to see. Just much like comedy. Like, I'd have to watch anything that has to do with comedy. So.
Okay. Well, I was actually going to ask you earlier, and I was kind of afraid of the answer, so I didn't, but you just brought it up. The uncle that gave you the Monster Squad, he passed away shortly after that, it sounds like?
Yeah, about like a year later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that movie reminds you of him, probably, every time you watch it.
Definitely.
Okay. So that's
there's a reason why the VHSs I still have, and it's a treasured fucking possession. Like, that thing is not going anywhere.
Okay. Well, yeah, I can go along with that. I can see both of your explanations for that, and yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say horror has gotten me through any bad times that I remember. I've always kind of fallen back into horror, just by accident, I guess. But I can see what you're saying there. But we're talking about, or you guys are talking about, it sounds like the old school horror. Now, current horror seems to have a lot of emotional characters in it, a lot more, a lot of more real life situations that are sprinkled with horror elements that could be, some fantastical, but some not so much. For Hereditary, for example, Midsummer, for example. Are those still the same kind of therapeutic or calming horror films as like what you used to watch to comfort yourself? Or is it a different a different level, Colonel?
I think, again, cheap answer, I'm going to go with a little bit of both, because you have to remember, what do people talk about now that we haven't ever talked about before? Mental health. Like, that's a big deal. I mean, even when I was a kid, if I got hurt, stop crying, be a man, get up, walk it off. If that's what it was. You just fucking dealt with shit. You did. As a boy, you're taught just shut up and fucking deal with it. So where now it's more open for everybody to deal with traumas and mental health and talk about it. So I do see where it's therapeutic, especially more so now than it was back then. I mean, that's what we had. That's kind of what we clung to. Now you can watch characters that you really, truly can identify with if you're going through that kind of situation.
Mm-hmm. Well, hell, Ari Aster has described Midsummer as the ultimate breakup movie.
Mm-hmm.
But goddamn, if that's the kind of breakup you're going through, son of a bitch, I'm very sorry. Holy shit. But I don't know. Carrie was the one I think that mentioned some horror got her through a breakup. Carrie, I want to direct a question to you. If you've seen Midsummer, would that have resonated with you as especially in the time of your breakup that you were going through? I'm just kind of curious if you can elaborate on that for us while Ziggy answers the same question that Colonel did. Maybe.
Yeah.
If I didn't give him a headache.
I'm not a fan of Ari Aster and his style, and really X is the first A24 project that I actually give a little merit to. I just don't like the vehicles. They're telling stories. Yeah, fine. Horror, okay. But I mean, from what I saw coming up, through the trenches and all the classic, the 80s, into the 90s, into the 2000s, we saw that what's going on, the trends come and go. And this one, I feel like it is too, that kind of thing. I'm not a huge fan of this way of telling a story or and how they did it and stuff. I don't know, man. It just didn't work for me, those movies like that. So I'm always going to, I guess, default back to those, my wheelhouse, which is the, late 70s, 80s, early 90s, sprinkled in a little bit. You know what I mean? For me, that's for me.
Let me back up here just a minute. Dave, this episode has me laughing out loud for real. It's funny, but now we're talking about some serious shit, so I'm glad we were able to.
Dude, I'll be honest with you. You guys got up about something I've never told anybody before. Like, as to why I love horror. I have never told anybody, family, friends, nobody that. Like, this is the first time I ever said that shit publicly. But now they know. But yeah.
Now they know.
Okay, that was the last one I think I had seen before. S. Michael says, I spit on your grave made me appreciate me Willie more. Also taught me to never let my junk anywhere near a pissed off woman. Well,
see, how about taught me that? Not I spit on your grave.
Yeah, no, that was one thing I was about to say. I get what he's going for there, though. Lorena says, this makes sense. Aggression in a controlled environment. If I watch the stabby stab, I don't have to do the stabby stab.
Good.
Is that enough?
This is like...
If you're a sane person, yeah.
She's like the Plato of horror themes. You know what I'm saying? She's just got all these philosophies on it. It's great. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, damn it. I can't find that. There was a comment earlier that I wanted to find, but I don't think I can see it anymore. Hold on. Give me a second here. No. Well, this one. BK says, goddamn cat.
This is a goddamn cat, man. Pisses me off.
Oh, here it is. Yeah. S. Michael says, 5 cents, please, for the psychological... Yeah, psychiatric help. There's one, I think. Kiara says, one case. I feel like when you've been through some intense things, watching certain movies where the final girl or main character is going through similar traumas, it's kind of comforting. It doesn't make you feel so alone.
Yeah, I like it when you can relate to a character. That's always a bonus, for sure.
Right. Well, and that's what makes... characters better is that you can relate to them. That's one of the reasons why the characters in Texas Chainsaw Massacre's recent remake nobody liked because there are no people like those fucking assholes. Well, there are, but they're all on TikTok, and I don't deal with any of them people. Carrie says, it saved me from getting a criminal record at the time. My ex was being a right arsehole and stalking me. I hope I didn't say too much. No.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of joke about, at least some individual viewers and I sometimes joke about this being, the weekly, group meeting, counseling group. We bullshit about horror movies sometimes, but we also talk about some things that affect you guys and us even. So no, that's kind of what we're here for in a way. I think. Dave says horror movies make people forget about life for the moment, and that is therapeutic for people. And then they think, "Fuck, my life isn't so bad."
Yes,
it could be worse.
That's true. You could be staying at a farmhouse in Texas and with that couple from X. Yikes. Dave says, I have to agree with Colonel. I also have to watch comedy as well. Both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Faye says, oh yeah, horror is absolutely an escape. And all right. Here's a couple of more serious ones, I guess you could say. Patricia says, I was also bullied horribly growing up, so I could identify with the monsters. People are afraid of what they don't understand. I can see a lot of horror fans being, and I was one of these also in some ways, that were bullied, for, your look, your, size, whether it's, incredibly scrawny or big or, whatever, your hair, your clothes, but if you were a horror fan, that was just something else that they could pick on you about for. I could see that as a general trait of bullied kids is being a horror fan in some respects anyway, or more common trait, I guess I could say. Would you agree, Ziggy?
Yeah. I don't know, man. It is heavy. It's a heavy situation,
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sorry, I'm reading some of these comments too.
I'm scrolling too. So
yeah.
All right. Well, Colonel, what about you? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody at one point in their life or another gets bullied. Horror definitely helps, and I think at some point we all, especially in those early teen years, you're going through a lot of changes. You know what's going on. You may identify with the monsters a little bit more than you normally would. Well,
and I think horror, a lot of times, always included like that outcast, the one that was bullied. And some of the ones that I remember anyway, it did. Maybe not as a main character, but
I mean, Trick or Treat, man. Eddie Weinbauer. You know what I mean?
There's a perfect example.
I fucking totally could get down with that dude. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, this is guy in my circle for sure.
Right. S. Michael says, this show got me through a really hard time early last year. Man, I'm glad glad we were here to help, I guess. I don't know what to say about that. But.
Yeah, no, me too. I'm like, cool. I mean, in the nicest way possible. I'm flattered. It's just, I'm saying, Craig, I'm like, I don't know how to take that. Because to me, we're just three idiots talk fucking horror every Monday.
but is it maybe just the consistency, or just to see three assholes, joke around with each other a little bit and be able to be part of the conversation? If that's Jesus Christ, if that's the least we could do, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Right. If you can come in here and vent it out, shit, man, I'm all for it. Anything we can do to help. That's why we're here.
Lorena says the Plato of horror has got to be one of the best compliments I've ever gotten. I'm glowing here.
Well, you know.
But she would also accept the Play-Doh of horror.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When you first said it, I could have swore you said the Play-Doh of horror, not Play-Doh. Play-Doh. I was like, this motherfucker just say Play-Doh. So I'm glad I'm not the only one that heard that.
He's gonna slap her on the Sunday comics and peel it off.
Play-Doh. That was silly putty.
That was silly putty, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Fuck it, whatever. James says that
this guy trying to fucking get an image on his Play-Doh here. You hear this shit, folks?
Why not?
That explains a lot.
That does explain a lot.
Hold on. Kidneys. All right. James says that movie Teeth had me scared as fuck. Anyone seen that one? Yes.
Oh yes.
Yes. Me Willie was scared of that one.
Dude,
it did for vaginas what Jaws did for oceans.
Dude, at that point, I didn't care. I'd still risk it.
Oh my god. Colonel.
Let's see what happens.
I would just have to inspect a little bit more, before going in.
Well, I swore I'd never do it again. But if you're doing this and you came out like this, you might okay, I might want to leave.
Okay, well, we made it an hour 45 minutes before we completely derailed tonight. That's got to be some kind of a record.
That does have to be a record.
Good Lord.
Patricia said, I used to pretend I was a werewolf so bullies would leave me alone. It didn't work, but hey, I tried.
You'd had to whip out have shades on with like the Michael Jackson contact lenses, then you could have just kind of give them the old, yeah.
We all have our coping mechanisms. I guess horror is just as good as one as another in some respects, for as long as it doesn't completely send you down the madness hole. James says, yeah, he got bullied about some of his hand-me-down clothes and shoes. No, I get it, man.
People are fucking dicks, and especially in groups in school like that. That's what I remember. Like a lot of.
Oh yeah.
The preps all hanging together and all, just. But I mean, who gave a fuck, really? I mean, it's like, yeah, off you go. Yep. Yeah, hand-me-down clothes. Okay.
That I don't see that as anything to even bring up.
No.
Like, so what? I mean, I'm not today, but earlier today, I was wearing a shirt that was probably at least 20-something years old. Why throw it away? It still fits.
Clothes are clothes, man. That's what I always looked at as a kid. Clothes are clothes.
Yeah. S. Michael says, I find zombie apocalypse movies particularly cathartic. When the whole system breaks down, a different type of people are suddenly more valuable than before. Zombie plagues are a great equalizer. Yeah. That is one of the horrors of that. It's not the zombies all the time. It's the people.
Right. Yeah.
Society.
The social interactions between the survivors. There's always you always got a Mr. Cooper in there. You always got some fuckhead that's got a better way to do it and ends up getting everybody fucked every time.
Kiara says, I don't know how to explain, but for me, some horror movies can express feelings I can't express sometimes. Midsummer is an example. Oh, damn. Damn, girl. No, I'm just kidding. It's comforting.
Kiara, I'm sorry.
They deserved at the end. Fuck it.
They did. They did. No, I mean, that's kind of what I was trying to get from Carrie earlier. I think she's probably gone by now, though. Because I haven't seen her comment. But I just wanted to see if like a movie like that would have helped her in some of her breakup times or whatever. But Dave says, this show I do consider my therapy, for real. Every Monday I get to engage in a very entertaining show that makes me laugh and also talk horror. Peace and love to everyone on here. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate that.
It's a hell of a comment.
That is.
Even for a Canadian. I appreciate it.
Oh, hey. Cassidy's here. Our winner from a couple weeks ago. Hey, Cassidy.
Hello, Cassidy.
She says support. Yep, it actually is now. She says, support the monsters. That's right. That's kind of what we've been talking about for a little bit now. I don't know how long you've been here, but here we go. Here's something interesting. BK says, all you need to ask is, what were you for the first 5 Halloweens you dressed up as, and you'll know who's a horror fan. I can tell you what I was for at least the first 2 or 3 that I remember. I was a ghost, because that was the only costume that my parents at the time would allow me to have. The sheet with the holes cut out. Which
Spider-Man, Batman, Spider-Man. I want to say like G.I. Joe and then like Paul Stanley from Kiss. Something like that.
I'm trying to think. It's from what I can remember. I don't remember. The G.I. Joe version of Sergeant Slaughter. The rubber suit with the rubber, the plastic mask. Skeletor. Just a plastic mask, but still Skeletor. Michelangelo from Ninja Turtles. I'm drawing a blank on that one, but I think by the time about my 5th, 6th Halloween that I can remember is Freddy Krueger. And who would know by now I fucking hate Freddy Krueger.
I never did any horror icons when as a kid. When I was doing Halloween, I always did like Superman or Spider-Man or something.
Oh no! Oh, hang on a second.
Hold on.
I actually went. Go ahead.
Oh, go. Nope. Go ahead. Hit it.
I actually went and when I was 13, I bought the bald cap. You know, the bald-headed cap they sold at the novelty store. I bought a real hockey mask, the kind real goalies use, but it was one of the ones that had the back, the thing. You've seen these masks. They don't look good. They got like diamonds instead of holes. They're like triangles.
And they're kind of misshapen.
Yeah. Yes. And but I had that thing and I painted it up, like muddied it up. Damn. Muddied the paint. Yeah. And I was Jason for the next 4 years with that thing.
Nice. And I do remember my Gap costume. So number 4, I was a vampire. So I just now remembered I won the kids' costume contest at my mom's workplace Halloween party.
I think I did a vampire at some point before I was like 10, but it was just a completely generic one. There was nothing much to it.
It was just me wearing a fucking cape of fangs.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
My mom made me the Grim Reaper costume in 6th grade, so I guess that'd be 11 or 12 years old. So I did the skull face painted and had the full hood, had a sickle and everything, man. It was wild. It was good. So yeah, I guess I flipped it around a little bit, And...
All right. Well, hold on. Let's get through some of these comments here. Dave says it's not just the horror talk; it's also the immaturity of the humor. Gee, thanks. Love it. Thanks. Immaturity? What are you talking about?
I know what he's talking about.
I thought it was something that was sort of better than a sucker punch. When he gets done, he goes.
Carrie says, this show, I feel like I have found somewhere where I belong and with good company. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yes.
Lorena says a lot of horror movies are about bullying, revenge. Yes. Prom Night, Terror Train, Carrie, even One Dark Night on a certain level.
True.
Okay.
Incidentally, One Dark Night, yes.
Let me open up that question then, Colonel. Was there a certain revenge plot in a horror movie that resonated with you at all?
Dude, not really. I mean, I like them all. That's not the answer you wanted, but that's the truth.
No, I'm just
especially on the spot with no time to really think about it. Off the top of my head, no, because I like all revenge plots and stories. So except for the rapey ones, like, yeah, you go and kill him, girl, you deserve it, but just don't let me see the rape scene. I'll watch after.
I will answer that one before I let Ziggy answer. And it's this guy right here, man. The fact that he was, I assume, kind of laughed at for being deformed and, whatever was wrong with him. But Jason drowning in the lake and then coming back and getting his revenge, for Mama. that's the shit right there. I always, that was one of the reasons why I always have loved Jason more than most of the others. What about you, Ziggy? Is there a revenge theme out there in horror that resonated with you when you were younger?
It's a weird revenge theme though, because the guy is twisted.
Of course it is.
Maniac. Here's a guy who's out doing these horrible things to women, and you feel bad for him though, because when he breaks down bawling and apologizing for murdering these people and shit, but then the revenge at the end when all the mannequins and shit come to life and kill him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like I don't know, man. I always felt like, I dug the way Spinelli played that, when he would be so vulnerable as, like is crying and then just hulk into this beast and strangle the shit out of these hookers and stuff, and then, man. But I don't know. I guess Tommy taking out Jason in part 4 for sure would be something like that. Even though, Jason, you know what I'm saying? It's just, we're looking at it from different ways. I know that, but I mean, that's what comes to my mind.
Yeah. I'm looking at it from the monster's point of
Right.
view, I guess. Fuck you, Ziggy. Thanks.
It's crazy.
All right.
This shit could go all night.
A decent one, I guess. Now that I had time to think about it instead of being put on the spot.
Okay.
I always really like the revenge story of Candyman and Candyman 2. That's a good one.
Okay.
How about Ghost Story? That's a good revenge one.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Wow. There's probably a ton that we're not even really touching on here. And I think some have listed some also, but I got to rattle through some of these comments and then we got to wrap this up pretty quick.
Yes.
But Patricia says there's a great group of people here. Thank you guys. Cassidy, love you guys. Thank you. Love you. I look forward to this every week. I know some of you guys have said that too, and it's fun to talk to you guys, whether it be about horror, whether it be about real shit, As Michael says, I watch Wes Craven Presents They a few times a year. It deals with mental illness and night terrors in a fascinating way. I haven't seen that in a while. I'll have to look for that again. Lorena says, remember the old Halloween masks that got banned because you couldn't see out of them? Those fake plastic ones with the little string? Holy shit, those sucked.
That's what I was talking about. Spider-Man, all those first 5 I named, the G.I. Joe, all of them were that.
All those?
In the box, Kmart, yes.
The first two I mentioned, the Sergeant Slaughter and the Skeletor, those are those kind of masks.
Yes.
In the
With
early
the
90s.
With the thing you'd step in with the short sleeves, with the strings in the back, and the colors that were fucked up and didn't quite match. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. And James says, yeah, you guys are fucking awesome. You guys keep it fucking real. Thank you, sir.
Get ready, James. We're coming back to your side of the world here this summer.
Yep, we'll be back in Oklahoma City in August, and I believe all 3 of us will be there. Actually, all 4 of us. I think FaZe is coming with us, too, so we'll see.
We'll see.
Anything else that we want to touch on about why horror before we wrap this up?
Why
I think we went...
Why the fuck not?
Why the fuck not? I think bottom line is...
we went a lot deeper than I think you guys thought we were going to.
Yeah.
The bottom line with the horror is I feel like out of everything that's out there, and I'm into everything too, but I mean, you get the more bang for your buck with the horror. You do get the gore if you're a gore hound. You get that adrenaline from being scared.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best, man. And that's the feeling. I don't really get it as much at all these days, but every once in a while I'll get a scene or two that might get it cooking a little bit, But man, that's what it's about for me, is those permanent feelings leaving like that and just watching those things and having it play out. Fuck, man. That's to me is horror in a nutshell, for sure.
I'm not gonna put horror in a nutshell, but I told obviously from what I haven't said earlier, it's just music wise, entertainment wise, even video games. I've always been attracted to. I mean, even Star Wars. Fuck Luke. I'm an Empire guy. I've always liked the darker side of life. My music, my entertainment, everything. Just odd. That's what gravitated me more so than anything else. So I could imagine life not being a horror fanatic. You know what I mean? Like that's just as important to me as a lot of other stuff.
Right.
Just a much more gray, one-dimensional world without horror in it.
Mm-hmm. One more comment I want to throw up here. Cassidy asked, "Oh Lord, why Oklahoma City?" Oklahoma City HorrorCon is August 5th through the 7th. So we're going to be down there filming some panels, getting some interviews, and hopefully raising some hell. So
we got some ideas for this one, man. I'm just telling you.
And maybe even, we can say that. Maybe even a live version. Yeah, a live version of Curse Your Luck.
I think we could recreate. Maybe. Yeah, if we can get this done, man, it'll be like a live game show taping, just like any of the big ones. Right there. It's going to be awesome.
All right, damn it. A couple more comments real quick. Carrie says, love you all. Brilliant show as always. Thank you, Carrie. S. Michael says, I appreciate the show for the sometimes brutal honesty, the humor, and the respectful difference in opinions. Nobody is arrogant, which makes a huge difference.
Well, I don't know about
Craig as well as you think, sir.
Hey, what the fuck you picking on me for? No, what's funny is I was actually going to say, hey, you don't know me as well as you think.
You dick.
Oh, man. Anyway, Ziggy, send them out for the night. Tell them what's coming up.
Holy cow, man. What a fun night it was just for having just why horror. Who would have thought it would lead down this fucking catacomb of tunnels? But, man, that was fucking great. I feel absolutely cleansed after having a discussion like that. Seriously, I had a great time with this one. I mean, it felt like kind of a throwaway topic when we were going into it. But, man, no way. This is the good stuff. But, man, we got it coming. We've got cons coming. Hopefully something in Pennsylvania. We'll see. But, man, next week, it's back. The return of Curse Your Luck, and we are looking for 2 more, folks. We need 2 more players for this fucking thing.
Actually, 3. S. Michael said he would not be able to play next week.
S. Michael, it would have been epic. Dave and S. Michael on the same stage. I don't know if this could have contained it anyway. So we need 3. We need 3 more.
We'll need 3.
But, yeah, man, it's coming. Death Curse Society forever. We're going nowhere. It's family, folks. You're in it. We're in it. And we ain't going nowhere. Everybody else get the fuck out the way. Here come the DCS.
That's right. Colonel, send them away.
Yeah, I'm with Zag. This is a much better show than I thought it would be, even though you guys have me confessing shit I've never confessed in my life. I'm trying to keep this one quiet, so it kind of leads to the perfect closing. Don't get sick. Wash your dick. Don't smell like a Scuba Steve. Oof, you Summer's Eve.
God damn it, Colonel.
I'm playing with my pussycat. So, yeah.
How did I not see that coming either?
You're not supposed to smell your pussy live on the air, man. Come on, dude.
We're going to get thrown off the air.
If you're smelling summer's fresh, man, it's going to smell like a summer breeze.
Oh, my God. That's right. Curse Your Luck is next week. We're going to have a good time. We will have some special prizes, hopefully, if Ziggy can make some calls and emails. We're working on something kind of cool, I think. Maybe I can't tell from his look if he knows what I'm talking about or not. Or if he's just like, oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Hey, by the way, now that we're off the air, what were you talking about?
No, I'm pretending to know what they're talking about. I have no fucking clue what they're talking about.
God damn it.
Oh, no. I'm totally on the same page with him.
And hopefully next week we will have a decision made about June and Living Dead Weekend.
I have unlimited days off like some people.
Colonel,
pick and choose.
I told you sick days are coming.
I don't get sick days, brother.
No, the flu is coming, dude. It's coming.
They're still going to take my vacation days away if I do that. It doesn't go unpaid. They take my vacation. Now I'm getting way personal talking about my business. So we'll say this for off the air.
All right. Anyway, Curse Your Luck next week. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Monday Maniacs will be back soon. So until then, woo!
Rock and roll! get paid. These are the days when you wish your bed was already made. It's just another manic Monday. I wish it was Sunday, 'cause that's my fun day. I don't have to run late. It's just another manic Monday. I wish it was Sunday, 'cause that's my fun day. It's just another manic Monday.
Pardon my French, but you're an asshole. Asshole!